The clock on the mantel was a wedding gift from her grandmother, a heavy, ticking thing that marked the passage of every quiet evening. Sarah watched its hands, poised at 8:47, and felt the silence in the room thicken. Across from her, Michael turned a page of his book, the sound like a dry leaf crumbling. They were 25, married in a blur of champagne and youthful certainty, and now they were strangers sharing a sofa. She remembered the frantic energy of it all, the scramble to book the venue before her cousin's wedding, the secret panic that if they waited, the feeling might evaporate. They'd been playing house, and then suddenly they were responsible for the mortgage. The dreams they'd whispered about travel, his graphic design firm. Her pottery studio had been gently boxed away, replaced by the immediate, exhausting math of bills and unspoken resentments. The love was still there, but it was buried under a layer of grime, like the windows they never seemed to find time to wash. The rain was a soft, insistent patter against the skylight of the downtown loft. It was their first dinner party, and Julia felt a thrill of ownership as she lit the last of the beeswax candles. The scent of garlic and rosemary curled through the air. Leo was at the kitchen island, deftly finishing the gremolata, his brow furrowed in concentration. They were 30. Their path had been different. There had been other apartments, other relationships that were beautiful, but ultimately classrooms. Julia had learned she needed solitude to recharge. Leo had learned to articulate his fears instead of boxing them away. They'd weathered career shifts, personal losses, and the quiet, profound discovery of their own individual shapes. When they decided to marry, it felt less like a launch and more like a docking. They were choosing to merge two complete operational vessels, not two half-built rafts desperate for buoyancy. Later, as their friends' laughter filled the room, Julia caught Leo's eye from across the crowd. He gave her a small, private smile, one that held the memory of the panic attack he'd talked her through last month, and the promotion she'd celebrated with him just last week. It was a smile that acknowledged the history they'd already built, separate and together. The commitment wasn't a hope for who they might become. It was a ratification of who they already were. Sarah, at 28, now sat in a mediator's office. The divorce was amicable, a sad unraveling of a knot tied too tightly, too soon. She thought of that silent living room and realized they hadn't been grieving the end of love, but the loss of the people they were still supposed to grow into. They'd ask a sapling to bear the weight of a house. Julia, at 32, stood on a windswept cliff in Scotland, her hand warm in Leo's pocket. They were talking about maybe one day starting a family, and also about the sabbatical he wanted to take to write, and the gallery show she was curating next fall. The conversation was a tapestry, woven with threads of past, present, and future. Strong because the individual threads had been spun to durability first. The statistic isn't about magic dot, it's about mortar. It's the difference between building on the soft, hopeful ground of potential and laying a foundation on the settled, known earth of a self already formed. It's the grace of meeting someone not at the starting line, but farther down the course when you're both running your own race, breathing your own rhythm, and choosing with clear eyes to run the rest of it side by side.